Jeremy, congratulations on completing your second speech. This was Project 2 out of the Competent Communicator Manual. And to kind of set the stage in terms of the purpose of that particular project and then your own goals that we discussed. Again, that's organization, making sure you had a good, strong opening, smooth transitions and supporting points within the speech itself, and then a very strong conclusion as well. And the other things that you kind of wanted me to look for was the purpose of the speech, and that you said there was a clear purpose, and I needed to identify that as I listened. So I asked you not to tell me what the purpose was. And so I have some ideas around that. I think it was fairly clear, but we'll talk a little bit about that. So first off, in terms of what you did incredibly well, the opening was very, very strong. You started with a question, and you asked the audience, do we believe in coincidences? And this thing sort of rolled out like a ghost story or like a horror movie in some ways, I felt like. So you started off and you gave us some great examples of coincidences and that we could connect with and relate to. And I think that that got us all caught up in that speech, and we thought, where is this going and where is he going to take us? And so you transitioned from this sort of frame, and your speech was sort of framed in that it had this opening that was almost like reflective present day. Then you went into this story that was in the past, and then you kind of come back out to kind of reflect back over what it meant and what you learned from it. So that was sort of the frame of your speech. The other thing that was different is that this one was a story. So this wasn't a case that you were building. The structure of the speech wasn't necessarily, well, point 1, point 2, point 3 was supporting arguments. It was a story. And honestly, I think in terms of what we do, in terms of speaking, storytelling is the most powerful aspect. And I can say that in this audience, you had us all. The suspense was real. And the way you sort of slow rolled that story in terms of first, meeting your friends, going out, the camping, the morning, everything else, it was just kind of this nice, sort of pleasant, but we all knew it was going somewhere. And so that built a lot of suspense, and you took your time with it. And so that was more powerful when it finally led up to the dogs. And even the dogs, it was kind of slow. Oh, you see one, it's just an innocent, lone, stray German Shepherd. So what could possibly go wrong here? And then as more dogs started to advance, like everyone started to get, I think, very much concerned. And so you built that suspense well. In terms of what could be improved and what you could work on opportunities, I would say even more description. With the storytelling aspect, I want to know the colors, even other senses, the smells, more about the dogs, what they look like. You could tell us a little bit about maybe matted fur. I want to know, were they barking, were they like the snapping and the sound of the teeth, other things that would help us sort of feel that we were in that situation with you. And then the conclusion, of course. The conclusion felt sort of brief. I think you could have recapped with a whole series of other relatable sort of coincidences. I think about the movie Signs, where they talked about all these things that you see, and are they meaningless or do they have purpose? And I think your purpose was to say that there aren't coincidences, that there is reasons for some of these things that happen, and that you're a true believer now, having been saved at just the right time. And so I think recapping with some other examples that kind of bring us into that same conclusion would have helped. But otherwise, this was very, very good, strong storytelling, which is, I think, the most difficult aspect of this, and you did a great job. So congratulations. Thank you.